I'll just introduce her first. So this is Hug, and yeah, you might realize she's a little bit nervous. So if you can show her a little bit of love, maybe just show her a heart or something. Oh, that would be, thank you. All right. So we are here today to talk about well-being in the primary classroom. Yes, please, thank you. And we're going to show you, hopefully, lots of practical ideas. We're going to focus on the pre-primary classroom, as I say, but there will be things in here that you can use for even adult learners. So we're going to try some of those out as well. So let's see. Oh, Hug, what do we do if the technology doesn't work? Okay, it does. All right. Oh, dear. Yeah, this is what happens when you've got too many things going on. All right. How about now? Does anyone know how to... What do you need? Oh, no, we're going backwards instead of forwards. This one?
Yeah.
Okay, we got it. We just thought we'd recap. All right, but first things first. Did you put those in there? So we came all the way from Cambridge. I don't know if you've seen in social media our long journey, but Hug got up really early this morning. What time? 5 a.m. Actually, when it was still dark, to do a little bit of sightseeing. So that was very nice selfie of you. Thank you. Excellent. Climbing some trees. Anything else? Okay. Brilliant. Well, I'm glad that you've used your time well. Yeah, she said it's a myth that sloths are lazy. She got up and really made the most of the day. So just so that you know. And we heard on the plane that the word in Portuguese for sloth is something to do with a lazy person. Is that right? Yeah, she didn't like it. So, all right. So let's get going with our talk for today. We're going to talk about what well-being is, why it's important in pre-primary settings, and how can we integrate it into our pre-primary classroom. But Hug, I'm afraid, is a little bit tired. She's not lazy, she's tired, she's had a long rest, so we're just going to pop her down for a little bit. She'll have a little sleep, I think, over here. There we go, and I do have her eye mask ready. So it's very bright up here, all the lights, so, you know. There we go. Comfy? Great. Okay. So first of all, what is well-being? Well, I want to ask you, first of all, what words come to mind when you think of the word well-being? So maybe just have 30 seconds with the person next to you. What words immediately come to mind when you think of this term, well-being? All right. So I want you to think about those words that you've just shared with your partner, the person sitting next to you, and see if you can recognize them on this next screen. So what I'm going to show you now is what researchers have found that well-being is all about. And it might be a little bit different in some ways to how we talk about it in everyday life. So the first one, maybe a bit more familiar, is feeling well. So feeling a sense of happiness, feeling those positive emotions like joy, excitement, and not having so many negative emotions like anger or sadness. It's also about enjoyment, so being able to enjoy the things that you do, and having a sense of life satisfaction, so that you feel like you appreciate your life. But there's another aspect to well-being that we don't talk about as much in everyday terms, and that is that idea of functioning well. So not just feeling, it's not just about emotions, but it's about these other things as well. So first of all, feeling competent, so feeling like you are good at what you're doing. Then also having a sense of meaning and purpose. So I bet that lots of you went into teaching with this, right? You have a sense of meaning and purpose to what you're doing. It's also about reaching your potential. And it's about having positive relationships. We know that they're really powerful for well-being. So when we're thinking about well-being in the classroom, we need to really be bearing all these different aspects in mind to make sure that we're supporting our students in all of these areas. Now, it has to be said that Cambridge has got its own definition of well-being, but if you look at it, it is completely in line with what I've just shown you. So it's all about feeling, how satisfied we are with life overall. It's about recognizing and managing our positive and negative emotions. And it's also about functioning, so that other side of things that I talked about. So that's more about personal development and interacting with others and carrying out meaningful activities. So this research I've been talking about so far, as with most research, has mainly been carried out on adults. So in Cambridge, in the university, Ros McClellan and her colleagues wanted to carry out some research with children in schools to see whether the same kind of ideas applied. And through her research, she found that well-being in children can be thought of in 4 different ways. First one, competence. That sounds familiar. So in a child's language, you might say something like, I feel like I'm doing well, or I feel I can deal with problems. Interpersonal, I feel people are friendly, I don't feel lonely. So this is about relationships, also maybe a bit familiar from what we were talking about. Then you have the emotions, I don't feel worried and I feel happy. And life satisfaction, I feel I enjoy things and I feel there is lots to look forward to. So hopefully you can see, actually, they found in the research that children's well-being is made up of the same factors, they just might be expressed a little bit differently, and there might be a slight difference in the balance between them. So I just want to ask you whether you consider any of these aspects in your teaching at the moment. Again, I'll give you 1 minute. I'll see if I can go backwards, because I was quite good at that before. Yes. All right. So, do you include any of these aspects of well-being in your teaching, no matter what age? So just share with your partner. All right, I would love to actually get a couple of ideas from the audience. So I'll try and harness Claire's powers of hearing, because she did an excellent job earlier. If anyone would like to share anything they do in this area already, could you just put your hand up, please? And I also can't see so well, so this will help me. Okay, so I don't see any volunteers at the moment. Maybe you will want to share something a little bit later. We're going to share lots of ideas with you in a second. So if you don't have any ways that you do this already, hopefully by the end, you'll have something to take away with you. All right. So before we go on to the actual practical aspects, let's just think a little bit about why we should do this in pre-primary. So first of all, I want to zoom out and think, why should we do this at all? Why should we include support for these areas of well-being in our classrooms? And I'm going to show you a few quotes that I think really nicely sum this up. So this is from a recent UNESCO paper. Social and emotional experiences drive and shape learning. It's impossible to remove the social and emotional aspects of human experience from the process of learning. So to me, that says, it's there anyway. We've got a whole learner in front of us with their emotions, with their socio-emotional competencies, and it's affecting their learning already. So we want to be helping them in those aspects so that they can learn better in the classroom, but also thinking a bit wider. This is from Ros McClellan, who did the research with the children in well-being. And she says, there is no doubt that if we want effective and successful learners, so we're thinking in the classroom, who will make positive contributions to society, so thinking a lot wider outside the classroom, we need to attend to young people's well-being. And that comes out from all the research that she's been doing on outcomes from looking after well-being. And then let's zoom in on pre-primary. So a recent UNICEF paper had some really nice ideas about well-being in young children. And they say the earliest years of life provide the foundation for later development. What happens during this time can have a significant impact on children's future health and happiness, and therefore the health and happiness of our society. So these are huge things, right? And as I said earlier, I'm sure many of you got into teaching because you had this sense of meaning and purpose behind it. If this isn't meaning and purpose, I don't know what is. And finally, mental health in infancy and early childhood plays an important role in children's wider development and a range of other outcomes later in life. So again, this is not just about language learning, it's much, much wider, but I'll explain a bit later why language classrooms might be a good place to do this. So to summarize the research on why we should include well-being in pre-primary classrooms, you can think of it as getting your children ready for three things. First of all, getting ready to learn. So students with a good level of well-being have better focus and engagement, which also helps with classroom management a little bit too. They achieve more, so they have higher achievement, and the classroom atmosphere becomes a more positive place, especially focusing on those social relationships. They also become ready for school. They gain the confidence that they need to transition into a different environment, and the relationship and communication skills they need to make new friends, to have good relationships with their teachers, and so on. And this one I quite like, ready for anything. We've talked a bit today about the unpredictability of today's world, all the change that's happening. And for that, we really need these resilience and coping skills. And having well-being at the center of what we do really helps build these skills. So in the English classroom, as we've already seen in the quotes, we're not just educating the language learner, we're educating a whole child. So we cannot separate well-being from learning. So I think that's one good reason to include it in the English language classroom. But also, there is a lot of evidence to suggest that just having isolated well-being initiatives, for example, having a yoga session in lunchtime, or having a mindful colouring club once a month or so, these don't really have a big effect on well-being. To have a big effect, we have to integrate them actually across all subjects and through our school culture as well. And the good news is, as English teachers, we already have lots of opportunities to integrate well-being into our classrooms. And you'll see that in the activities that we'll be looking at in a moment. So Cambridge has just developed a brand new course which has a well-being strand. It's called Ready, Set, Grow. And we wanted to find out teachers' initial reactions to the well-being strand. And I won't read them all out, but you can get a sense here that it's gone down very well with teachers, even though it's a new thing, and maybe the lack of hands earlier was indicative of it being a new thing for teachers. They found it really rich, that it's really good to have a well-being strand. And we also worked with teachers to shape it as well. So they felt that was really a positive thing to be adding into the English course. So let's get practical. How can we integrate these this well-being into our English classrooms. And as I said, I'll use some examples from this course. The first thing to think about is just some general tips. So first of all, include explicit teaching of well-being skills and strategies. So actually making sure that you have a focus on well-being will help students understand those skills better and better be able to take them out into the classroom. Especially for pre-primary, but at any age really where students have not got as much language to express their emotions or express the kind of conversations you would have about well-being. L1, so perhaps Portuguese, is completely acceptable, and you can play with how much you need to use L1 and English. And as you learn more words in English about well-being, you can then add more and more English into that. I think this is really a key one, number 3, the using research-based materials, because as I've shown you at the beginning, well-being, according to the research, is a little bit wider and it has more depth than the well-being we talk about in everyday language. So if we really want to support our students, we want to use materials that are covering all of those areas, not just the feeling well. As I mentioned before, we want to ensure that our classroom and our school environments are also supporting well-being. And really important, possibly the most important, and I'd like to do a whole other talk about this, but your well-being as a teacher is vital. It's really important, not only for you, which, that's a good enough reason in itself, but studies have shown that teachers with higher levels of well-being are naturally modeling well-being to their students. Their students are actually very good at picking up on their teachers' emotions. So if you are coming in with a higher level of well-being, that will more naturally transfer to your students. And equally, if you're quite stressed, it's difficult not to pass that on. So I'll have one little tip at the end for that, but as I say, a whole different talk. So some activities. We're going to look, first of all, at this sense of I feel like I'm good at something or I'm doing well. And I would like you, if you've got your little Cambridge notebooks that you received at the beginning of the day and a pen, to just have a go at this yourself. So you're going to imagine that you have this on your sheet, that it's an award ceremony certificate. And in it, or on it, I want you to think of something that you feel that you are doing well in your life and draw it. It can be really simple. I mean, I would draw a stick man or something on this. Once you have drawn it, just take 20 seconds or so just to really quickly sketch it. Have a quick share with your partner and explain what it shows. And then just have a quick think together, how did that activity make you feel when you were doing it? All right, so you have just about 2.5 minutes to draw something really quick, something that represents something you feel you're doing well. It could be in teaching, it can be in your home life. And then share it with a partner and explain what it is and see how that makes you feel. And if you really can't find the paper, you can have a discussion. I won't penalise you for not doing the drawing. We've got some digital versions going on as well. That's good. All right, maybe just 20 more seconds, and then we'll come back together. All right, thank you very much. I could see a few smiles doing that, so maybe it was quite a positive or at least amusing experience for some of you. Anyone feel a bit awkward doing that? Yeah? And I think the feedback usually is that this is quite a nice thing to do, but it can feel a bit unusual to kind of show off what you're doing well. And I think this is exactly why we need to start doing things like this in the pre-primary classroom, because we've all kind of grown up to be focusing a little bit too much on what we can't do yet. And we have a big focus of that in education, but in our lives in general. And the research suggests that if we focus on our strengths, then that is really positive for well-being. And our strengths, if we build on them, can actually help us overcome our weaknesses. So it's something really key for us to do as adults. I mean, you don't have to draw it like this if you're an adult, but to be doing this right from pre-primary up until to adult learners. If you are teaching adult learners, or maybe secondary, you can Google something called strengths cards, and they have lots of cards with character strengths on, like patient, thoughtful, adventurous, kind. And this is another way to do this kind of thing. Choose your top 3 strengths and talk about how you use them. And that kind of encourages you first to recognize that you have got these strengths, and it also prompts you to use them in difficult situations. And that's been shown to be very powerful for well-being. All right, I'll just show you an alternative. So this is for a higher level. So in this case, students have learnt the words for things like doing exercise, painting, cleaning up, and they rate themselves on how well they're doing in those things. And notice they're all smiley faces. So we've got to focus on strengths rather than, I can't do this yet. Maybe I can do it a bit. Everyone can do it a bit. But which ones are really your strengths? And then, again, you can use the blank space to choose something that you really feel is your strength. Okay, when it comes to emotions, so emotional well-being, a really nice thing to do in pre-primary is to set up some routines about noticing your own emotions and expressing them. Again, this is something that we have not really been taught how to do a lot of the time, but it's really something that's powerful. If you can express your emotions and recognize your own emotions, it's shown to be really helpful for well-being. So for this one, I'm going to play you the song, but I thought we've been sitting down a lot today. So if you could just stand up for me, that would be great. And if you would like to have a little bit of a dance, get the juices flowing, I will maybe join in with you. So you can either dance just freestyle, or if you want to do any actions for the emotions, feel free. Completely up to you. All right, let's see what this song is all about. Oh, I might need Leo to play this song if that's all right. Oh, the suspense. If I have to sing it, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? It's not my strength. Oh, here we go. I can feel it coming. Isn't that the name of the song, actually? Oh. Oh, I don't think I can sing it. I think it's going to happen right about now. What's the rhythm? Okay. You're going to make me sing it, aren't you? Oh. I'm really hoping this works. Okay. Shall we do it? Okay, I'm going to sing it. All right. It starts off with do, 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 do. If you can join in, I would really be grateful. Even if it's wrong, just join in. Okay, you ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Do, 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 do. How do you feel? Do, 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 do. How do you feel? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Tell me, how do you feel? I got the words wrong, but it doesn't matter. Do, 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 do. How do you feel? Do, 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 do. How do you feel? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Tell me, how do you feel? Do you feel happy? I like that. Do you feel tired? Oh! Oh, it's not good.
Let's talk about how we feel.
Okay.
Do you feel happy? Do you feel tired? Do you feel excited? Do you feel sad? Tell me, how do you feel? Tell me, how do you feel?
Oh, brilliant. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, and if you can just take a seat again. I will get you to do a bit more action a bit later. But this is a really nice song. You'll be singing it all day if you're anything like me. But it's something really nice to introduce again and again in the pre-primary classroom. First of all, it's, as I say, it's catchy. Students are learning the words to express their emotions. And then you can follow up by asking individual students, okay, so how do you feel today? And then that starts a conversation, and it makes it normal to talk about emotions. Just one tip. We often talk about positive and negative emotions, and we often equate that with positive emotions are good and negative emotions are bad. This is something that has not been shown to be very good for well-being, because if we start to say, if you're angry, that's bad, if you're sad, that's bad, students learn that it's unacceptable to be those things, even though they're completely natural emotions. So instead, we want to validate our students' emotions, whatever they feel, and help them through if they are feeling a bit sad or a bit angry. And puppets are quite helpful in that. Puppets are also very good at modeling emotions. So with a little practice, I'm still getting used to working with Hug, but she can show how tired she's already shown you how tired she is, but she can also have a nice smile, she can also be excited. It's difficult when I don't have enough hands, but she can also be excited like this. And she can, again, normalize it. So maybe you ask her how she feels, and she gives you a more negative emotion. You can show that that's perfectly acceptable. Another great way to look at emotions is to look at stories. Again, this is very, this is very common in the pre-primary classroom and also in primary. We do have stories a bit later on, but they just feel a bit different. Oh, this is interesting. Yes. Who knows what's going to happen next? So this is an example from the textbook that I've been talking about so far. And we have two kids who are in the playground. And you could start off by asking, okay, so how do you think they feel? They're going to the playground, they're going to have some fun. But then you're going to play them the story, and you're asking them to notice how their emotions change. So just when you thought that you were going to sit down for a long period of time, what I would like you to do is what I might ask my students to do, is as you watch the animation, every time someone says either I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm excited, or I'm tired, I want you to stand up to show that you've noticed it, and bonus if you can show me the emotion as well. So show it in your face, show it in your body, and let's see if we can get some. Yes. All right. So standing up when we hear any of those emotions.
Look, it's Sophia and Daniel. Hello, Sophia. Hello, Daniel.
Daniel, look! Ooh! I'm excited!
Oh. All right. Okay.
I'm happy!
Nice.
I'm tired.
Oh.
I'm happy! I'm sad.
Oh, again. You can stay up.
I'm sorry. It's your turn. Yay! I'm happy.
Daniel and Sophia are happy.
That way, yeah, okay. And as you can see, hug features in this video as well. All right, so that's obviously quite a pre-primary thing to do. You might not do that with your adult students, although you did participate very nicely, so thank you. But again, this raises students' awareness of the different emotions and recognizing them in other people, because that's just as important as recognizing them in yourself. All right, so the surprise of what will come up next when I press this button. Okay, great. So if you remember, the third area we talked about was interpersonal, so working or being with other people, having positive relationships with other people. So this is a really nice introduction to some of the behaviors that you might want your students to develop in terms of being kind and compassionate to people. So hopefully you can see that there are two very similar pictures here, but the one on the left has 3 differences from the one on the right. Just have a quick look, see if you can notice what's different. All right, so I'll start at the bottom, but you might have noticed in this one, our little boy he's got a hug all to himself, and he's taken up the whole reading corner for himself, and the little girl's quite sad about that. But on this side, they're sharing the space. So this is a really nice model for what kind of compassionate behavior is. Again, you can have a discussion with your students after doing an activity like that, which is quite fun, spot the difference. But also take it into your everyday classroom. So maybe you have a craft activity coming up, and that can prompt you to remind students to share rather than to hog all of the materials. So there are lots of opportunities to take these activities into the everyday as well. Another example is use pictures. So here we've got a nice model of I don't feel lonely. So all the students here are having a good time with each other. No one feels left out. And if we had time, I would ask some people on stage, but I feel like I've asked you to do a lot already. Maybe next time we do this. But you might get 2 students to choose a character they want to be. So for example, I might want to be the bird, and act in a way that shows that you're feeling a little bit lonely. So you're at this party, everyone's dancing, and you feel a little bit lonely. And then you get another student to choose another character and ask them to come over and say something or do something that's going to make that person feel a little bit less lonely. And then they don't have to get it right, first of all. You can ask the original person, like the person who's going to be the bird, how do you feel? Do you feel less lonely? Okay, if that didn't work, what else could we do to make them feel less lonely? So it's a really nice way of getting students active and really thinking about how to interact with other people. And the last one is life satisfaction. So this seems a bit of a weird term for pre-primary students, but we're using it because it's a term from the research. But there's some really nice things that you can do. For example, in the book, Every unit has a review section and a section called gratitude time. So you explain to your students this means being thankful for something. And again, this is a really strong piece of research from well-being research, and you can try this yourselves, to think every day of something or 3 things that you are grateful for, and they can be the tiniest things, like, it didn't rain today, and trust me, if you've been in the UK for the last 2 weeks, that is a very big thing. But for a child, it might be, I played with my friend today, or my friend helped me, or I learned a really cool word. I really like the sound of the word sloth in English. And to get students into the habit of doing this regularly, to be thankful, to notice the good things in their lives, can be really helpful. And for us adults as well, again, we don't tend to do this a lot. It seems a bit odd to think, okay, what am I really grateful for? But if we don't do that, then our negativity bias, as it's called in the literature, but our propensity to really focus on the negative more than we do on the positive, it kind of wins out and it makes us feel not so great about things. But if you consciously think about the positive things in your life, however small, then that helps to redress that balance. Okay, and one last thing I'm going to show you for life satisfaction is when you're learning the words for enjoyable activities, then you can build them into your gratitude activities as well. And one great way to learn these words is with a song. I really hope I don't have to sing this one as well. But this song is going to have some actions. So actually, could you just stand up one more time? I'm just going to teach you, this is the last time I'm going to make you move. Just going to teach you a few actions that you might need for this song. Unless you want to freestyle dance, that's fine. Okay, so we have paint a picture. We have do a puzzle. So you're going to place a puzzle piece. Great. Make a toy. You're kind of admiring the toy in front of you, the robot. We have build a tower. We have help, and in this case, it's helping someone through the door, so, yep, very nice. Share, I want you to imagine you're handing over a pair of scissors safely to the other person, so not the blades first, please. Share, we've done cut. This time you can get your blades out. And clean up, you're going to make this action. All right, so when you hear those things, you know what you need to do. Okay, let's see. Oh. I don't think that's how it's supposed to sound. We'll see. Oh dear. They are going to dance in a second, but okay. Let's start, just see if it will do it again. Luckily, my talk is not about technology. Okay.
Hello,
Yes.
everyone.
It's song time.
Let's sing and dance.
All right, get ready. It's a good one. Oh no, oh yeah, okay.
Hello, everyone.
It's song time.
Let's sing and dance.
It's a new school day. We make friends and play. It's a new school day. What can we do at school today? We can paint a picture. We can build a tower. We can do a puzzle. La 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 la. What can we do at school today? Hey, hey, hey. We can make a toy. We can cut and stick. We can share the scissors. La 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 la. What can we do at school today? Hey, hey, hey. We can paint a picture. We can build puzzle. La 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 la. What can we do at school today? Hey, hey, hey. We can make a toy. We can cut and stick. We can share the scissors. La 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 la. What can we do at school today? Hey, hey, hey. It's time to go home now. We help to clean up. It's time to go home now. We had fun at school today.
Yeah. All right. Brilliant. So the last thing to say about that is that singing and dancing, funnily enough, is good for your well-being, whether you're a teacher or a student. So really embracing that in your pre-primary classroom is a really great thing to do. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you a very quick few things about this new course. You've seen a lot of it already through the activities, but it's called Ready, Set, Grow. It's just launching right now, and it is based on the research that we've been talking about, but also on research with teachers who are teaching right now in schools. So every unit focuses on one of the aspects of well-being of those 4 areas that we talked about. So you'll see it, I'll show you a bigger scope and sequence in a second, but you'll see that it's included as a column. And there are well-being activities to support every single one of those objectives. So yeah, this is a bit of a bigger one. And this last column is also school readiness. So the students are building both well-being and school readiness skills at the same time. They work really well together. So you've seen some of these already, but these are some examples of the well-being focus pages. They all have one of these I feel statements so that children can understand in a bit better terms. We don't talk about life satisfaction to pre-primary students. There are lots of routines and songs, as well as activities and games. In the teacher's book, there's lots and lots of extra support for well-being. So there are these emotional well-being boxes that talk about what that aspect of well-being is all about and why it's important. And the everyday well-being boxes show you how you can integrate those not only in the activities, but also in your everyday classroom. Some cute characters that you've seen already. So Daniel and Sophia, who are the human characters. And also Hug, who is sort of hiding at the moment, but also comes in puppet form. And Hummy, who is the more energetic character. They play really well together. Okay, the slogan is ready to learn, ready for school, ready for anything, which is exactly aligned to the research that we were talking about. And if you'd like to find out more, I'm sure you'll be able to find it outside on the stand. So this is what you're looking for. All right, so just to recap on what we've been talking about today, supporting our learners' well-being, whatever age, but we're talking particularly in pre-primary today, is really important. It has really long-term consequences for their future and their development. But well-being is about more than just feeling good and the things that we talk about in everyday life as being well-being. So if we have a good understanding of all of well-being, it helps us integrate these well-being activities into our classrooms more easily and more effectively. And finally, as I said, teacher well-being is just as important. We're focusing very much on student well-being in this talk, but if we are showing our students how to live a life with a high level of well-being, they will pick up on that. So I'm going to give you one little thing that you might want to try out. In fact, I really like what Lucas said about it's not the speed, it's the direction. This is a good direction for you to try something for well-being if you want to have a go. This is from Action for Happiness. So you can Google them. They're an organization that try to improve the happiness or the well-being of adults usually. and they are completely research-based as well. So all the research I talked about today, they use there. And every month they produce a calendar with one tip or one little thing for you to do every day, just to slowly build up your well-being. So today, is it the 17th, Wednesday? So today is all about using one of your strengths to overcome a challenge. So maybe one of your strengths came out in what you drew today, but maybe think about any challenge that comes up today. Can you use a strength to help overcome it? All right, and I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. If you want to find out more online, there are also some links there for you. And if you want to get really geeky, you can have a look at some of the research. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for your participation. Thank you. Right.
Thank you, Jasmine. It was great. We have some questions.
Okay, yeah.
For you, would that be okay?
Yes, of
yeah,
course.
we can
Yeah.
move ourselves to the center of the stage. Does anybody here in the audience have any questions?
Please not about technology.
Or if you want to ask Jasmine for vocal classes. You did so well.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I think you have to have a lot of well-being reserve to be able to do that. So good job, yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions from the audience? Over there,
Oh, yes.
we have someone in the gray sweater or jacket.
Hi, you're amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Why do I sound like a child? Sorry about it. I was just thinking, how do you deal with that moody kid? Like, we are all singing and dancing and woohoo, and there's one little angel sitting over there. I don't want to sing, teacher. How do you deal with that present of God?
That was such beautiful phrasing of that question. Can I just ask a clarification? Sorry. So you mean the one student who wants to then do a solo, or?
No, like that he doesn't want to do it all.
Oh, that doesn't want to do it?
Yes.
I think we have to be, when we're talking about well-being, not every student, I mean, I was a very, very shy kid, and I might have been that little angel. Oh, that's a nice way of describing it. But I might have been that kid who's like, you know what, I might sort of move like this in my chair, but I'm not going to stand up, and I'm not going to sing, or I'll do the actions under the table. And I think we have to have room for that, and just make it okay to not have to join in. And you might find when you repeat the songs, that students feel a little bit more willing to join in. And when they get to have better relationships as the year goes on with their students, then they might be a bit more willing. But I don't think we need to force students. We should, respect that they might not want to join in as much, and that's okay as well. All right, anything else?
We do have time for one more question. Does anybody else have a question? I loved how you talked about strengths and how that's important for us to work and think about our strengths. We don't naturally think about our strengths.
Yeah.
So I thought that was amazing. And that, with me in the classroom, I've had students say, I'm not good at anything. And I was like, oh, you're good at something. We're going to find out what you're good at.
Yeah.
So as they get older, because of the negativity bias, students start to think that they're not good at anything. And they might become adults who think they're not good at anything.
Yeah.
So if we work with them since a very early age, and they can be proud of what they're doing well, they can build their confidence for when they're older.
Absolutely.
So
That was
that's
a
amazing.
brilliant summary. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a topic I'm very interested in.
Great.
All right. So thank you very much, Jasmine.
you, and thank
I think
you
we
all.
all feel very happy. We do have a question. We do?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Let's go.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I would like to ask you about the importance of teachers practicing those skills ourselves in order to be able to actually make students also do that. So the importance of ourselves being psychologically well, and to feel good ourselves first, and then teach that to students.
Yeah. So as I said in the presentation, it's really important for us as teachers to have a good sense of well-being for ourselves and also for our students. The one thing I would say, though, is if you feel like you don't have a great sense of well-being, or our well-being fluctuates day to day, to not feel, oh no, I'm going to ruin children's sense of well-being today. It's not going to be like that. It's being consistent and doing little things like maybe just following that calendar for a month and working little by little to improve. You'll start naturally bringing those things into the classroom without even realizing it. So not to put too much pressure on yourself.
Yes, and well done on your little dance.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Unexpected, but right.
Really well.
Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Another round of applause.
Hug.
Yeah.
Thank you.